Hey, what's up, everybody? Andy Cruz here in Business Development.
And Will Flores with Mortgage Heroes.
Welcome back to a new week. We are going to talk today about renting. Hold on. Yeah, renting. So a new article just came out with some economic data, and it says that we are at an all-time high for the percentage of renters at 43.7%. And this is over the 55-year recorded history of this.
55 years. That is crazy.
So that's a long time.
The U.S. is breaking records.
Yeah, we're breaking a lot of records we don't like to,
records.
right? Inflation at a 40-year high, and we got rentals at 55-year high. So 43.7%. This is not a number that we have seen. And what was interesting to me is that it's been like a surge recently in the last 24 months. So obviously we got to talk about house prices. Obviously we got to talk about the migration of people. So what do you think is behind some of those numbers?
Drum roll, please. Come on now. Yeah, we already know it's rates.
Yeah.
Rates. I mean, again, I used an example last week of a client that we were approving. And if the rate just had been 3.875, they would have been approved for $180,000 more.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Rates do have the tendency of pricing out the consumer out the market.
So here's what's interesting to me. This is why I wanted to talk about this today, because what's interesting to me is that as home prices went up, when the rates were lower, of course, there was more affordability.
Yes.
But now the rates have changed and gone higher, and house prices are still elevated.
Correct.
That's less affordable. But you know what is also less affordable? Rent rates right now. They're crazy.
It's crazy.
So how do we kind of unpack, well, what's happening here, right? Because if a place is let's say it's $4,000 a month if you're going to own it, or $4,000 a month to rent it, why are people renting?
Well, I mean, they just can't afford, you don't qualify to get into a rental.
There you go.
You know? So there's
or
no
to get the mortgage.
Yeah. To get a rental, it's just a credit report. It's not an income driven based situation.
Yeah.
You know, they just say they don't ask you, I don't think for a rental. I mean, I haven't rented.
I think it depends on who's asking, right?
Yeah.
But I think some of it has to do with just people's intentionality of whether they want to own or not.
Correct.
I also think that some people just don't want the responsibility. I've literally had people tell me they can't afford. I don't want the responsibility of the house. I want to be able to just call the landlord or whoever it is to come and fix this thing, or tell them they can handle it.
I mean, 43%.
That's a lot. 43%
of people. And that's why, again, they're bringing affordable, they're trying to make it where it's affordable housing by getting homeowners, to do these ADUs and stuff like that. We keep going back to that, but all of that intertwines with one of them.
That's more people
exactly.
renting. Yeah.
They're encouraging homeowners. They're doing the grant now. You go and get the grant. They paused the applications because they got inundated.
Right.
They didn't know what to do with all these applications. So now people are like, well, when am I getting it? I mean, there's a lot going on, Andy.
Yeah.
A lot.
I think there's a couple things initially. The affordability is part of it, right? So people who may have been priced out of market that actually can't afford a home price, but they can, for some reason, afford the rent, are going to rent.
Yeah.
There's also some people I know that are silently hoping for a crash, not the correction we've been talking about. They're hoping for like an all-out crash.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a little bit, that they might become short a little bit on that.
Yeah.
So I know that there are some people that are renting for that reason. And then I know that there's a lot of rental that's being made up because of ADUs. And here's the other thing, and this is what I want you all to pay special attention to, is people who own a house now that want to continue owning real estate as part of their retirement plan, expanding their financial portfolio, increasing their assets, creating cash flow. That's also why there's a lot more renters now than before.
Correct. Yeah, because as long as we're doing ADUs, for instance, I'm doing one right now, and there's going to be on one set of property, on a 3-bedroom, we're doing 2 more units on top of that.
Yeah.
They're going to consist of 2-bedroom, 1 bath. The going market rents for something like that's $3,200, $3,400. They're going to be brand new, so I think we can get that.
Oh, you'll get
so
that.
now on one property, there's going to be 3 families.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy if you really start thinking about it. And that's why there's just more and more people wanting to do this.
Yeah.
And not only, being able to put that as a homeowner, it helps you offset a lot of your debt.
Yes.
Since things are more expensive, well, now we're looking at like, hey, how can I leverage my property?
Yes.
Converting my 2-car garage into a 1-bedroom, I can get at least $1,800 to $2,000 rent on that. Yeah. And the $80,000 that they did the cash out only cost them like $500-600.
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah.
Well, now they're cash flowing $1,000 and change.
And it's creating an amazing swing for people who had refinanced in 2019, 20, 21 at a lower rate, and they have a lot of equity. Maybe they use some of that equity to build the thing you're talking about, but they're like, oh, I have this new high house payment. Well, not really. If you got the cash flow offsetting that and more.
And some, Andy. So everything now is all about leverage. I mean, that's the good thing that California didn't bring into us was this whole Proposition 9 with the ADU. It's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah.
It's leverage at its best if we can see the piece of property as, a benefit to us.
Yeah.
How do we use that big old yard that the kids rarely use, right? Because our kids are just getting older. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Right? And so the older they get, the less they want to play on the backyard. So now let's leverage that.
Yeah.
And so I think most homeowners are actually starting to do that and realizing that.
So let me ask you, do you think that this trend will continue upwards, flatten, or go down? In the next, let's say in the next 5 to 10 years, do you think it'll go up, stay flat, or go down?
The
percentage of renters.
I think it's gonna,
Your answer came fast.
It's just confusing, right? Because if the rates remain the way it is, we're gonna see more renters.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Again, because the affordability is just not all there. If we see rents coming back down, we'll start seeing more people understanding that, hey, I could own something.
Yeah.
And especially when now you're speaking with the right people that are encouraging to do the other things of leveraging the property, etc., then I really think then they'll encourage to actually not just get one property. They'll probably want to go get another property.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing that I'm starting to see with a lot of our clients right now. They understood the power of leverage. And now they're looking at like, well, Will, I'm already doing this one.
Yep.
How do I do the next one?
Yeah.
And that's the next stages that we're all working together towards.
So I see
pretty cool.
I see this number going up in the next 5 to 10 years. And I really have two primary reasons. One is San Diego is still a very transitory town.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that come here, maybe short term being 3, 5, maybe 7 or 10 years. Maybe it's a work move that that's bringing them here. But then they're going to bounce out and do something else. Yeah. That's also very clear with our military and our service members. They're coming to town. They're getting orders here.
Correct.
And maybe they don't want to buy here, but they want to rent here. So I think that's part of that's at play. Yeah. And on the other side of that same coin, the people who have the aspiration to own real estate over the course of their life are picking up places playing exactly to that hand. Yeah. They know that they're gonna be able to rent it. Yeah. So I've already had someone talk to me just this last weekend. Someone was telling me, I'm going to buy a place every year for the next 5 years because there's so much rental demand and there's such lack of housing. He already knows he's going to be able to rent it out.
Tell him I'm saying thank you. He'll keep us in business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because things are changing. I mean, everything's changing drastically. This is just everything that's happening right now in our market is just a new thing. It really is.
And it's on us right now. It's like it's super present.
Yeah. So, don't feel alone.
Right.
One of the things I was before, you get in your head a little bit. Are we doing the right thing? Am I the only one experiencing this? Am I panicking for no reason? Listen, everybody. I mean, I don't care what industry you are. The news is the news is there. The facts are there. Yeah. Everything is changing. And so I just say, you're not alone. We're here.
I think they need to take the next right step. Like
absolutely.
Even just this Monday on Monday Mortgage Minute, I was kind of advocating for people. Like, look, even if you're afraid to ask a question, ask the question.
Exactly.
If you don't want to step forward because maybe you're ashamed or embarrassed, like, let's have the conversation.
Absolutely.
But especially if you're planning on adding real estate to your life over the course of successive years, let's get on those now because things are so
prepare
odd.
Yourself now.
You have to prepare now. But also by preparing now, guess what? That puts you in a better spot later when the market turns in your favor. You're already ready. You're like, oh, I've been waiting for this.
That's it. Part of the 3 Ps.
That's right. The 3 Ps. Right. Preparation.
Yep. Okay. So those are the things that we have to follow. Predict, prepare, and perseverance.
Persevere. That's right.
You know what I mean? And so again, just surround yourself with people that understand this market or have at least a better idea. Somebody that understands it.
Hey, we just did that Spider-Man thing.
Yeah. Boom, we're putting at each other because we already know each other's strengths, right? You already know like what I do, but I know all the information that you go and identify, Andy. It is crucial and powerful for us. It empowers me to actually say the right things and do the right things and apply those things even in my ordinary daily life, So thank you for that. I kind of point over here because he is the brains, and there's a reason why he lost his hair and I haven't lost mine, right?
It all burned off.
So there we go. But anyhow, Andy, going back to this 43.5% being, at a 55-year
high,
like that's That's insane, Andy. That is something that I never thought that I would actually even see.
Well, and I think part of the reason it was so low for so many years is actually coming out of the 2000 .com bust, and actually, especially after 9/11, there was a huge push towards America and own a house, like have a piece of the dream, get that white picket fence and all that. And that was that back in that time, that's what it was. I mean, there was just this sense of unity and everyone together, like, hey, we're going to do this. And they loosened guidelines. They made sure that the industry and the policies were favorable for an increase of home ownership. But that's changed because of that collapse that had happened and the Dodd-Frank Act, or Frank Dodd, however we call it. Dodd-Frank, Frank Dodd, those guys. That changed and made things a little bit more stringent when it came to qualifications. And I think that's also contributing towards less home ownership and more renters.
Well, these things actually, they have to get paid, right?
Yeah.
So you get these third-party agencies that have to monitor what we're doing and how they're doing things. So it really becomes more expensive to new homeowners. Believe it or not,
it gets baked into the cost of borrowing.
Exactly.
For sure.
Somebody's got to pay for that. It's not like it comes to the bank's pocket or our pocket. It's these agencies that just keep, well, it's easy. Here we go.
Well, and
collect this, collect that.
Think of the duration of the time we're talking about. Like, I'm referencing a 20 to 22 year time window right now when I'm referencing the .com bust. And then, we're talking about 55-year high for renters. Like, these are decades. So
that's it.
So, when you're watching this, like, let's not jump to any conclusions like, oh my gosh, we got to do this tomorrow, or we got to hold on. We're talking about really long time frames of change and things at like policy level that changed what happened in mortgage and real estate. So be aware of those things and let's just be prepared and start now for the things you want to do in 23, 24, 25.
Because I think we've done the predicting already, right?
That's right.
So
the predicting
we already
it's being
see
done for us.
6.9. The average 30-year fix is 6.94%. The last time we saw this was back in 2002. Today, we experienced the stock market being as low. Last time we saw this was back 2007.
Yep.
And so
lows,
the whole idea of all of this, again, is to help us prepare for what's coming, right? And how do you do that if you have a lot of debt that you can have to consolidate? Listen, I mean, I've seen credit cards at 32%.
I know.
And a lot of us don't know this, but whenever you have a credit card limit, Andy, and it tells you, it's a $5,000 credit limit, and you go above that $5,000, if you didn't read that fine print when you first got that credit card, when you were all excited to open that one, it's time to get in debt. Well, it says right there, if you go over that credit, now you're susceptible to a higher interest rate for that.
Correct.
So now if you were in that 18 whatever, now you could possibly look at that. You're probably in the 32.
Hey, how about you're saying 18 like it's normal?
Yeah. But credit cards, right? It's your credit card. And then, so Andy, how long does it take you on average to pay off a credit card debt?
1 kabillion years.
Suppose it's 12 to 14 years.
Yeah, depends on obviously the rate and the balance, but 12 to 14 years is kind of the industry average.
That's it. So although it sounds a lot of times we have people in the fence like, well, I have a low rate right now. Yeah, you have a low rate on your home, but you have all this other debt.
Yeah.
Credit card that you can't pay it. So it's just not allowing you to free up to go do these other things. Yeah. A lot of times it's like, we already know what happens with rates, with historically speaking.
Yep.
I mean, Andy, I've never seen a rate stay this high in the sixes for no more than a few months.
And they've never raged this high this fast. I mean, when you look at the chart, they've never spiked this quickly.
They didn't. So what that means is when they go down, they'll go down pretty quickly too.
They're probably going to go down quickly.
You see what I'm saying? So,
but that's only because there's trouble on some other part of our economy.
So in the 16 years, Andy, I've never seen the rate stay in the sevens for no more than a month, 2 months, somewhere around there. Like,
that's so crazy.
Like if you think about that, right? Like, I mean, I was speaking with Donna, she was saying, and I was just thinking like, I know rates will go down. It's going to take like 12, keep saying 12, 18 months.
Yeah.
But
I know.
Even in the past years, I didn't see them stay like high for no more than a few months.
Well, and here we are once again, talking about decades-long effects. Like, you hear people that are older than us going, oh, well, in the 80s, when I bought my first house, I had a rate in the teens. It was 17. I was happy when it was 12. Like, yeah, but your house was $40,000.
And I was going to say that, right?
And it was 50 years ago almost.
Right.
So,
I keep hearing the same thing too, but it's like, the medium sales price in San Diego, Andy, was $830,000.
Yeah, that's pricey.
Even in the 2008, the highest I saw it in San Diego was $650,000.
Oh yeah, we're way above that.
You know, so we're
way
so
beyond that.
things are different, and it's going to continue being different. New builders, their data just came out. They're going to build less.
Yep.
So when there's less supply in the market,
The cost is higher.
you know what I mean? We're going to pay more for that property.
Yep.
Going back to that Tickle Me Elmo, some of you can relate.
Yeah, when it was super high market demand, people overpaying for it.
Yeah, it's at the whole thing when you tickle it,
Yeah.
you know, something like that. It's not like Pillsbury Doughboy, but yeah, it was something like that in around.
Memo wants cookies.
Yeah, but it was expensive. I remember people paying $100, $200 for that doll.
Yeah, I know.
And it was and it was strategic because they brought it out right before Christmas.
Yep.
You know,
Demand.
I want my son to have or
Demand.
daughter to have that. But yeah.
Yep.
So where do we go here from here?
So I think the takeaway from today for people watching who've watched this far are watching to identify where are you in this story and where
That's
are you
it.
in this time window. If you have the aspiration to buy an extra second, third, fourth place and rent it out, whether it's in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, there's certainly no harm in talking to us today about that plan. There's certainly no harm in you making a written physical plan for yourself. And then just keeping your finger on the pulse and staying connected to us on what that means to you as you get closer to accomplishing those milestones.
Exactly. So, I mean, I just heard you say prepare.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Long way to
basically
prepare.
it.
I got it. Okay.
Prepare, right? Like all that, it was just be prepared. Just prepare yourself now. Prepare yourself that right now, at least you know what you can do now.
Yeah.
You know, because down the line, we don't know what's gonna happen.
That's good. That's good. So those of you watching, you want to ask William questions, hit him up, leave a comment, send a DM, or just reach him directly. You got econ nerd stuff you want to talk to me about, let me know. You can write a comment and I'll write you back. But other than that, that is it for this week. Remember, it doesn't cost you anything to ask, but
it can cost you thousands
by not asking. So thank you for watching again this week. We'll see y'all next week.
Thank you. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.